Hello, Algebra 1. I'm sorry I'm not there. I'm going to be out for at least a couple of days because my children tested positive for COVID. Yay! Um, so, you have a Delta Math assignment, 5.2 to get done after this lesson. And also there is an extra credit punchline. I think it's punchline 9.2 worksheet. It is extra credit. And there are copies there in the classroom on those like shelves behind my desk. It's sort of like nose level height, but you should see it there. Remember to show your work. And of course, if you don't find the worksheet on the shelf behind my desk, if you don't find the worksheet, then you certainly can still do the extra credit and just show your work. The worksheet you can view in Google Classroom. So it's there and you can see it in Google Classroom. Okay, we are solving three-step inequalities today, which is great. So here we go. Example 1, solve the inequality. Write the solution in simplest form. The nice thing about videos is that you can pause the video if you need to, but that means that I can work a little bit faster. And so notes typically are shorter, which is kind of nice. So if you need to pause the video to write down the directions, but please make sure that you always write the directions and the problems and the work. But the nice thing is you can pause the video if I'm going too fast. So here we have 2b plus 10 is greater than, so greater comes first, a big side, so we say greater than, negative 7b minus 2. And we have here, again, if you wanted to draw a little wall, we could do that. We got b's on both sides here. Well, they need to get together. So I'm going to take my b's and I need to move it over here. So I am going to add 7b to both sides of that wall. Negative 7b and positive 7b make a 0. And here, 2b's plus 7b's is 9b's. We have a negative 2 left on the right-hand side. And again, we've got numbers that need to be combined. So once again, I need to take this 10 and I'm going to move it away so that we can isolate the b. I'm going to move away that 10. And we can move it by doing the opposite. We're going to subtract 10. Negative 10 and positive 10 again makes 0. And we have 9b is greater than or equal to. Who wins here? Oh, and yes, feel free to answer the question. I'm asking you, and it would be super funny if you started answering out loud in the middle of class where you're all quiet listening in the headphones. I think that would be really quite hysterical. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, who wins? Negative 2 and a negative 10? That's a whole lot of negatives. Negative 12. I knew that's what you said. All right, we get to get b by itself, and that means that we can divide both sides by 9. 9 divided by 9 is 1. We get 1b. And you can put the 1 or you can not put the 1. They mean the same thing. Is greater than or equal to. Here we have a lovely fraction. And that fraction just needs to be reduced. Fractions are awesome. Because we're done, essentially. All we have to do is say, hey, both of these are divisible by 3. So negative 12 divided by 3 is negative 4, and 9 divided by 3 is 3. So 1b is greater than or equal to negative 4/3. Did we need to flip the inequality? No, because we're dividing by a positive 9. We do not have to flip that inequality symbol. Please remember, flip inequality when you multiply or divide by a negative. There we go. Flip the inequality when you multiply or divide by a negative. Very, very important that you don't forget that. And I don't... That's the one thing that everybody forgets, and we don't want to forget it, so I'm just going to remind you over and over and over. move on to the next one. We have negative Q. Plus 1. I'm plugging in my laptop right now so it doesn't go to sleep on me. Okay. Plus 1 is greater than or equal to 2Q minus 10. So once again, if you want to make a little wall, if you find that that's helpful to remember that you need something on both sides of the wall. Again, we've got a couple of Q's here and they need to be together. They're friends. So we're going to subtract 2Q. Positive 2Q and negative 2Q cancel out. Who wins? That's right, negative 8Q. There's a whole lot of negatives there. And then we have a plus 1 is greater than or equal to negative 10. And then again, I need to isolate my variable, isolate Q. So we need to get rid of this 1. So we're going to go ahead and subtract 1 from both sides. From both sides of the wall. So we have negative 8Q is greater than or equal to, here, who wins? Who wins? Again, they join forces. A whole lot of negatives here. We got 11 negatives. And now to get Q by itself, this is negative 8 times Q. How do we break that bond? We divide. Inverse of multiplication is division. So we're going to divide by negative 8. Ruh-roh, bells are ringing. What do we need to do? We must flip the inequality because we are dividing by a negative. Negative 8 divided by negative 8 is positive 1. A 1Q is what we want. We need to flip our inequality symbol. And then here, what's a negative divided by a negative? That's right, it's a positive. This is a lovely fraction. 11/8 is a great fraction. We cannot reduce it. So it's just going to stay reducible. I don't know if it has an E or not. It's not reducible, which means this is a fine answer. This is a great answer. Q is less than or equal to 11/8. If you have any questions, please ask your neighbors. I'm sure that there are plenty of people in our class that can be helpful here. All right, let's try a couple more. Again, if you need to pause the video, you can pause the video, but 5t plus 1 is greater than or equal to negative t minus 1. And again, collect your variables. We want to get our variables together. So I'm going to go ahead and add 1t. Remember, it's not just a negative, it's a negative 1. So we're going to add 1t to both sides. Negative 1 and positive 1 make a 0. Here, who wins? 5t's plus 1t is 6t's. Plus 1 is greater than or equal to negative 1. Then we can go ahead and move the 1. Isolate our t. We got to move this away, so let's subtract 1 from both sides. Positive 1 and negative 1 make a 0. And so we have 6t is greater than or equal to, here, who wins, ladies and gentlemen? The negatives win by how many? By 2. They don't cancel each other out because they're on the same team. They join forces. All right, and then to get t by itself, divide by 6. Very good. I know you're all saying that out loud. I can just feel it in my bones all the way over here at my house. Okay, again, we have a lovely fraction that we need to reduce. And what can they both divide by? They can both divide by 2. So we're going to reduce by 2. Negative 2 divided by 2 is negative 1. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So t is greater than or equal to negative 1/3. Beautiful. All right, one more just for practice. Again, this is what we're doing today. You will need to show your work in your notes, of course, when you're doing this assignment. So make sure you show your work. That way your neighbor can help you. If you're like, I got it wrong, ask your neighbor for help. All right, let's collect our G's. So once again, I am going to move my G, and I typically like my letters on the left, but you don't have to do it that way. We're going to add 6G to both sides. Positive 6 and negative 6 make a 0. All right, who wins, positives or negatives? The positives win. By how many? By 4. Negative 2G's plus 6G's is 4G's. All right, and now again, we're isolating G, so we need to get rid of the other stuff. So we're going to subtract 4. from both sides. And we have a 4g is less than or equal to. All right, who wins over here? Negatives. They join forces. 9 and 4 make 13. They get stronger, building up their forces. And then how do we get g by itself? Divide by 4. Both sides. So we get g is less than or equal to. This is a negative result. And 13 over 4 doesn't reduce. But it's a wonderful fraction. Who cares about decimals? We're done. If we wanted this as a decimal, we'd have to put it in our calculator. Fractions are fantastic. We're done right now. This is the type of answer they want. All right. Sometimes we can reduce. Sometimes we cannot. All right, ladies and gentlemen, last thing. On Friday, we'll be writing word problems. And so these are the warm-up. These are the multiple choice warm-ups here. So you might want to pause the video so you can copy down the question. And feel free to abbreviate. Like this first sentence, you probably don't need, okay? But probably the second and third and fourth are important. So example 2, make sure you write example 2. All right, a group of friends wants to go to the amusement park. They have no more than, that's very important, no more than $430 to spend on parking and admission. So there's 2 things that they're paying for. Parking and admission. Parking is $18.25. That's good information. Oh, I should probably use different colors. Let me make that orange, rather. Okay, parking is $18.25. Okay. And tickets cost $26.50 per person. And that per person is super important. These are absolutely things you want to write down, including tax. So we don't have to think about tax. It's already in there. Which inequality, so we know that you can see all of our equations have inequality symbols, can be used to determine P. This is very important. P is our variable. They're telling us what it means. And P is the number of people who can go to the amusement park. And this is a maximum number of people that can go to the park. So P represents the number of people. All right, so let's talk about what we have here. I like to talk about, we have 2 things that we're paying for. We're spending money on parking and admission. So we have 2 things to pay for, parking and admission, which that's the ticket price. So parking and admission. And those are the 2 things that we're spending money on, all right? Now, one thing is that we have no more than $430. And so the money that we're spending on parking and admission, if we have no more than $430, the question is, should the 430 have a symbol like this, or should it be the other direction? So no more than means at most $430. So at the very big side, so see how I have the big side next to the $430. That's the one we want. We don't want that one. We want the symbol that has the big side next to the $430 because that means at the most, at the biggest, we can spend $430. It'd be great if everything was less than that, okay? So that's the first thing, and just using that knowledge of how these are set up here, I can eliminate a couple of choices. I know that it can't be that one and it can't be that one. We want to have at most $430. So you can see that we can eliminate a couple of choices. Let's talk about the next thing. We talk about parking. Parking costs $18.25. That is a flat, what is called a flat fee. It is a one-time fee. It is $18.25. You don't have to pay it per person. It is a one-time fee. One-time fee, okay? And then we have to add our admission. Let's talk about the admission. Well, the admission, we know, is $26.50 per person. And what that means is it's $26.50. Is it a one-time cost? No, this is a multiple cost. It depends on the number of people. So this is what I like to call a reoccurring cost. There's going to be multiples of these. That's going to have more than one. More than one time cost, okay? And so what is that going to be? If it's $26 for every single person, that means that if there's one person, we have to times by 1. If there were 2 people, we'd have to times by 2. If there were 3 people, we'd have to times that by 3. We don't know how many people there are, so we have to multiply it by P. So it's $26.50 per person, and so we have to times by the number of people. And that's going to give us our equation, and that's pretty easy to figure out, I think. So there is our one-time $18.25 and our $26.50 times P, times the number of people. So this is our answer right here. And this is a great way to think about it. And we're going to do get a little bit of practice today, a little bit of practice on Thursday, and then we'll write our own on Friday. But hopefully, come Friday, this will be super easy. All right, ladies and gentlemen. You have some work to do. So go to Delta Math and get Delta Math 5.2 done. You can also do test corrections. You can do the extra credit punchline worksheet. And again, look for it on the shelf behind my desk, about nose height, sort of in the middle of the shelves. And also, for those of you that didn't do the test, we're just going to have to hold off for a while. Hey, you get some more time to study. So if you didn't complete the test, then just wait it out. We'll get there. All right, folks, good luck. See you later.